Following the loss that Man United suffered against Arsenal, I would like to pay my respects and read out my eulogy. The list of names, hold this L. Harry Pinero, Jermaine from Murky, Stormzy and all my mates in the footy group chat, Flex from United View, KG from United View, Adam McCullough, Stephen Howson, David Alorca, Eric Kofi Abrafa from BMF, Jamie Murray, the tennis player, Jermaine from Murky, Juni, Culture Camps from Stoppage Time TV, Luke, head of 360 TV, my neighbour who supports Man United, Jake Mallon from New Era, and everybody else watching who's a United fan. Thank you, RIP. I almost forgot the most important one. Last but not least, Mr. Rio Ferdinand, aka Manchester United legend.
This is how I'm starting my day. I ain't got time for you.
We've got blackouts, mate.
Bro, don't worry, mate. We're happy. We're all right. Good luck to you boys. You done well yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
You know what I want from you?
What? What do you want?
Joe Beya.
Go on.
I want an apology.
To who?
Apology.
To who?
To Mikel Arteta and Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah. Nice.
Both of them. You're sounding like the heroes now. You wanted them in the graveyard. You wanted them underneath 9 foot under, 6 foot under. You wanted them out of Arsenal.
No,
and now you're in laughing.
You're nasty,
and you're in laughing at me.
nasty,
Support your team properly,
You're
bro.
nasty, I do.
Right? Well done, yeah?
They can never do it like I. When you see man pull up and slide, man stepped in a room with legends, Rio and Ste, you know it's a vibe. Check the podcast, what you wanna know? Don't ask me, go and ask Joe. If you're talking Premier League, he's on the front line and I gotta go. It's a vibe with five, and you already know what it is. It's a vibe with five, and you already know what it is. Vibe with five, and you already know what it is. It's a vibe with five, and you already know this.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for this special episode of Vibe with Five. You've seen the eulogy, you've seen Rio trying to get at me outside, but it's all good. Victory belongs to Arsenal. 3-2 at the Emirates, the fortress.
Why are you still going on about that? It was yesterday.
Funeral settings. Joe Beya, Stephen Howson, cream beige Rio Ferdinand.
Man, not get a brew, no.
Huh?
Do I not get a brew?
He asked for a tea
bro.
and you lodged him. You didn't even get him a tea. Is that how you're moving? You got 3 points and thought, I'd have to make man tea no more.
Why should I make him one? Does he deserve one?
You made me one.
Get 3 points. Yeah, but you're paying for everything, innit? You're paying for everything. It's different.
Do you know what? I'm actually,
No, I am Team 5.
Do you know what? I'm actually happy for you, yeah? Because like
why?
Man United, I heard people calling Arsenal, they were like babies to them, from Patrice Evra to Jesse Lingard, Millie rocking on the pitch, moonwalking, everything.
Remember that?
Like,
been-
so you
it's been
deserve
rough.
it. You
It's
deserve
been-
your
it's been
flowers,
rough.
man.
It's been rough.
Yeah, it's
It has
been rough at your place.
I'm
Your
not gonna
place.
lie. But saying that though, the record that United had against us weren't too great though. Like we've beaten you like 7 times out of 9 at the Emirates anyway in the last few times in the league.
Not on my watch.
Well, maybe not on your watch. Did you see the clip? The guys that were sending messages to you. There was
Yeah,
one
I
brother
see,
in
I
the
see.
wheelchair, like Rio.
Yeah. It's nice, you know. It's just
take it.
It's nice to know that they watch the show, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? I love their energy. And you know what? Arsenal fans, you've been under it for a long time and you deserve to have your moment in the spotlight. So it's cool. Who's on your t-shirt, by the way, or your jumper?
Saka.
Saka.
Yeah, he gave me a Christmas. Well, some of the guys gave me a Christmas jumper on his behalf. So yeah, I cherish
It wouldn't
this.
be Nketiah, would it? Because
It
you
would.
wanted him
Rio,
gone.
Rio,
You wanted him
Rio,
gone.
don't, because you got loads of players. You got loads of players here that you want gone, and you said, all right.
Who?
Well,
Name
first of all, the manager. What was my man? Who was the last manager you lot had?
Ralph.
Ralph didn't want Ralph Ragnick. Put him under the bus. You overprotected Ole. Till the end, you wanted him gone as well. Who else?
But I said it, and when I said it, it happened.
Yeah.
You went, I want him gone, and then my man hit the front, and he's flying now.
That's good. That's why Arteta's the manager and I'm not. And I wanted him gone as well. But
Yeah, can we get that clip up?
yeah.
Can we get that clip up at some point, please? Or someone send in that clip in the comments.
That's going on a projector on the side of the Emirates
Yeah.
during your trophy
Yeah,
parade.
exactly. I want him gone. I want our manager sacked. He's not good enough.
Is it a failure if you don't win the league now?
100%.
Nah, I think it's too.
What?
I think.
What?
Wait, hold on a second. Don't try to set me up here.
You
boys.
lot-
We're not
you
doing
lot
this.
can't not win the league now.
Nah. We're not doing that. 4 months to go. We take it a game at a time.
Ah, shut up.
That's what we do.
Shut up.
Take it a
When have
game
you
at
ever
a
done
time.
that?
Wow.
All right. We had our little celebrations yesterday. Man City in the FA Cup coming up. Keep our feet on the ground.
You boys, I'm going to give this to you.
Come
you
on.
lot played like champions yesterday. I was sitting there watching it with my 2 sons, and I turned to one of my sons and said, boy, these lot look like champions the way they're playing. And the telling factor for me was when you went 1 down. there was zero panic. It was so calm. It was just like, we're going to get chances. We're going to get back into it. And they did. And then they got back into it. And they, what's this guy doing? What he's bought props. What's that?
Do your bit, man. Do your analysis.
Jaffa. I used to eat them. I used to eat them back on the pitch one time. No, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Carry on.
But no, they were just so calm and cool and composed and confident at that point. It just made me sit back and go, oh, as soon as they scored the one, I thought they're going to go on and win this. And it got to 2-2 and I thought, listen, Man United now would take a draw 100%. But the fact that they didn't sit and just go, we're all these points ahead, we're going to settle for it. It would have been easy for them to go, we'll just take this now. Man United ain't really coming at us. We'll just play the game out and we'll take a draw and be happy we haven't lost. They played like with an authority. We're going to strangle the life out of Man United. They had Man United in a chokehold in them last 15 minutes of the game. And they went on to win that game, and they deserved it. There's no qualms no negativity from my side of the table.
What?
I heard you yesterday on the live. Gave us a little bit of praise.
Yeah.
You did for the first time.
A couple of players looked all right, I guess.
Like who?
Odegaard looked all right.
Who?
Odegaard. See that pass he done? If that comes off, it's the pass of the season. Easy.
Thing.
Oh, mate.
The flip-flap.
Can I just special mention, there's 2 players I want to special mention after the game yesterday. Eddie Nketiah, who you wanted out.
Can you stop doing that?
I'm just saying, bro.
Pressure for no reason.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Eddie Nketiah.
Which I got wrong, Eddie.
Right.
I'm sorry, bro.
And
You know what
good.
I mean?
That's good that you say that.
See you, yeah. You are the man. You are. Hard work, dedication, all of this, the celebration. I'm here for all of it.
Yeah.
I wanted Saka out as well, by the way, when he first busted the team. Not out, but I didn't think he was good enough.
Oh, you admitted that
I didn't think he was good. I didn't think he was good enough.
Wow, you know your players.
Us fans, yeah, we were in a horrible place.
It's emotional, isn't it? It's emotional.
It was mad emotional. Think about it. Before you carry on, yeah, look at our position where we were.
Yeah.
Aubameyang was the only guy firing. And then you're bringing through these kids. I'm like, no, we need people now. Now, we're losing Sanchez to United, playing pianos and all that, by the way.
And he was dead. When he went to Man United, he was dead.
Pants.
Try to talk up before the game.
Ozil signs the new contract, disappears. You know what I mean? Like, we're thinking, what's going on? And then you're offering us children. Like, nah, bruv. We need the complete article now.
But what that shows you is that patience and time, man. Getting a manager who you believe in, the club did, in Arteta. Pep said this to me when I interviewed him about Arteta. What's good about him? And he said, listen, the guy works so hard. He's such a hard worker. He's so passionate. He's so involved, so engrossed in what he's doing. And he knows what he's doing. And you can see why the club have taken him and why they're sticking by him at the beginning when it wasn't going so great, because they saw the long picture, what he looked like. And then he's got him to a point now that I think the big difference between the 2 teams, it looked like one team looked like a manager who'd been there for the time he had, Arteta, and one looked like he's at the beginning of his journey by the end of this game.
Did you have patience for Ole?
Didn't need it. He started unbelievable.
In the long term. Like, you're saying like he went through a rough patch like Arteta. That's the part where you stick with him.
Rough patch.
Yeah, rough patch. Near the end he had a rough patch. No, don't come with your skewed stats.
Yeah. I think I'll leave that to you because I know where you're going.
No, don't go with the rough.
Dispel it now.
Because you know. We have an episode.
Listen to him,
I can pull this episode up, by the way.
Listen to what he's going to say.
Go on.
I know where he's going.
Ole came 2nd and 3rd back to back. He was the only manager post Alex Ferguson that's actually finished inside the top 4. Didn't deliver a trophy, but when that's such a weird black and white thing. Like, the league is the bread and butter. Coming 2nd and 3rd is harder than fluking a cup, in my opinion. Arteta was allowed to finish 8th, then 8th, then 5th. And you sacked the guy
with an FA Cup, by the way. You should have won a Europa. Don't forget that. I travelled to watch that match.
Any chance of finishing?
The eye test.
Any
Thank
chance
you.
of finishing?
Go on.
The bread and butter is the league. You can't tell me finishing 8th. No progression there. No progression coming 8th and 8th. You sacked the guy that finished 5th to bring in a guy that finished 8th.
You sacked the guy that finished 2nd and 3rd.
Can I finish?
Go on, carry on.
I think it was good because I think there's far too much. Like, I joke about his mate getting a bullet, which sounds like it might happen today. But managers do get the bullet far too quick. Like Sir Alex Ferguson, who is the greatest manager that's ever walked a touchline. It took him 6 years to really start to turn it around. Sir Alex Ferguson wouldn't have got past that 2nd season. He finished 11th, then I think it was 2nd or 3rd, then 11th and 13th. You're done now. That is just, you can't go from 2nd to 11th no more.
So you're saying that the pundits should have backed him?
No, but what my point is, and Steve didn't hit the point I thought he was going to hit. You have to see something that you go, I'm going to stick by that. And with Arteta, they've seen a work ethic, they've seen a plan, they've seen a pathway with him. That's why they stuck with him. That's why they invested in him. Ole comes in, gets us to the positions that he just mentioned, but the latter part of his tenure, you're looking at it and it looks shaky. And you're going, has he still got the dressing room? They're the questions that you start asking yourself. So when you start asking those questions, then you know you're on the shaky grounds at that point. So by that point, when you're going, okay, the grace that he had before, well, I didn't speak at because I was giving him the grace for the good work he'd done before in terms of league position finishes. It wears thin after a while when you're starting to see how the land lies at that time compared to before is very, very different. So that's when you go and you call out a manager and you say, actually, I don't know if he can actually pull this back. Whereas Arteta, he hadn't had the time to set any foundations
we can
properly.
say the same thing about Arteta. I'm sorry, but if you look at the way we finished last season, right? Like the last 10 games we were good, but when you look at the actual position and when you look at our cup runs, it was no good. We could have easily given him the bullet.
Yeah, but he's putting foundations in place. Like they're obviously seeing, and with recruitment that they've got planned and lined up, where they could have improved their team. So if he's sitting there and goes, I know I've got deals done for Jesus and Zinchenko, do they come if Arteta's not there?
No, they definitely don't come.
But what I'm saying, so that's the plan, and that's
that's all hindsight. That's all hindsight because he could have went in the summer, and I'll tell you what, Arsenal fans might not have had any qualms about that.
Yeah, but then you don't get Zinchenko and you don't get Jesus.
Maybe you don't, but you know, I mean, we still got. I don't know. I just feel like when I look at you guys, like the Ole situation,
it's complete opposite.
It's
no
very similar.
There ain't similarities.
And I feel like Steve would agree with me more if he wanted to, because I feel like there were foundations there. I feel you lot were just too quick to want to give him the bullet. I'm sorry.
I think it was obvious at the end. There was. I almost feel like Ole could have been successful because I think he's a bit of a throwback in almost like Sir Alex in the sense of how he manages training and that sort of stuff. Like, people would argue that Sir Alex isn't the greatest tactician. He hasn't got like this incredibly defined style of play. It's a little bit more off the cuff, and he's more of a man manager. And you have your assistants that are coming in to do the technical and the tactical work on the pitch. It felt like me, because obviously I was never at training in either of them. Well, early doors Fergie, but I was a teenager. It seemed like Sir Alex Ferguson allowed coaches to go and do it. And it felt like Ole had read that playbook, whereas Ten Hag and arguably Arteta, Klopp, Pep are coming from a different school. And that's not to say that that's a definitely better school. It's just a different way of doing it. Like, I still think Ancelotti's being successful doing it in the Fergie mould. I don't think Ancelotti's out there putting the cones out and giving extreme detail in every single training session.
But you know,
that's different.
The difference to me, see, that's the point, the bit that I kind of, it wrestles with me. I think the two managers you just mentioned there that managed that way, Sir Alex Ferguson, and Carlo Ancelotti, look at the years in the tank, man. Look at the experience. Look at the scenarios, all of that. They've seen everything, trophies, success, ups and downs, the experience overriding everything. They've earned the right to do that. Like, give someone else the reins to go and coach and be the tactical kind of guru on the training pitch. When you're a manager just starting out, it's almost like as a player, you want that manager out there with you, showing me that you actually know what you're doing, and you can galvanise a session, you can put a session on, you can make sure that we're tactically this and that, and that all the tactical stuff's coming out of your mouth, and I believe you. So on a Saturday, when you're telling me what to do, I've seen you and felt you and heard you during the week. And so that's my only reservations with it. Listen, I could be wrong, but my reservations with a young manager, inexperienced managers, allowing others to coach. Unless it's a real experienced coach who's been there and done it as a coach, I get that. But when you're doing it with inexperienced coaches as well, as an inexperienced manager,
I agree with you.
I think you're setting yourself up there a little bit.
I just wanted to say, I feel like United have been hasty as a whole since Sir Alex Ferguson left. I was watching the Jesse Lingard podcast the other day. And
Jesse, when you coming on, man? You told me you're coming on bare times.
What's going on?
We need to speak to you. We need to see you, man. We need you on.
He was saying how good Van Gaal was. And obviously that's his opinion. And obviously he's going to feel like that.
Because he played well under him.
Again,
you like managers sometimes who play
which is the truth,
which is fine. That's what.
But
players
I've spoken
are.
to one or two players, and a lot of players said that. Listen, he actually had a plan. He had a plan. Again, given the bullet too soon. You bring in Jose. Van
Gaal's football at Man United, mate. Come on.
But he had a plan.
Pedestrian.
Well,
boy,
at half time every time.
Well, boy, sometimes you got to give a man time, didn't it? You know what I mean? How long did he have?
Look,
wait. Then after that,
incorrectly sacked after.
I'll give you. Thank you.
I gotta say this.
I'll give you.
You don't sack a man the day he wins the FA Cup.
Come on.
That was madness. That was funny.
Violent, bro.
Crazy.
But he doesn't get sacked if Jose Mourinho's in work.
Yeah.
Because I think United was like, oh, that's Mourinho and he always wins.
Anyway, why are we digressing so much? We're talking about
we're going to talk about that. I just want to talk about the disarray that Man United's been in for years, because you guys wanted to bring back Millie Rock and all that kind of stuff. But let's.
Oh, did I touch a nerve? Did I hit a nerve?
Let's forget it. It did. Hey, 3-2. Anyway, if you bring it back to again, Jose, you guys think I'm mad? I think he's the greatest manager ever. Like, for me, he's the man. You got rid of him too soon, man. You picked players over Jose. I don't care what anyone says. You get rid of Ole, again, too soon, in my opinion, to bring in Rangnick. Like, my man didn't have a Scooby, bro.
They got rid of Ole, and I think they knew Ten Hag wasn't available.
That's not including Giggsy and all them other interims there that were a bit...
No one's actually denying that Man United has been in disarray for the last few years. We're not arguing that.
I just wanted to put it out there, just in case.
I don't know where you're going with it. We're not arguing that. We're just...
Speaking of interim managers... Shout out Michael Carrick.
Oh, flying. We lost Leicester against Sunderland.
His win percentage is
2-0.
absolutely outrageous with a team that was not doing that great before he turned up.
No, he's done well. Can I just go back to my point? They play football, by the way.
Do that.
Carrick ball. Just quickly, I wanted to go back to my point I was going to make. Man of the match, Saka, my young player of the year. By the way, I've been saying for the last few weeks.
You know what? Forget young. I know you're giving him young player of the year, but he's looking like one of the best players overall, you know, Rio.
Yeah, he is, but I'll give him young player of the year. Haaland can't have 25 goals, whatever he's got right now. 3 or 4 hat-tricks as well.
He's definitely top 5 though, right? If you say...
No, he'll be in my top 3, I think.
Top 3?
I think I'd go Haaland, Odegaard and Saka.
Yeah.
I think I would at the moment. Right now, if you call me now.
Casemiro, no. Rashford.
Yeah, but I think if I look at those 3, I'm going to go for them, and they're the 2 top teams, man. And I think Casemiro would be up there as well. Rashford definitely is having a great run of form at the moment. But right now, I'd go them 3. But can I just say
in the comments, let us know.
Saka, first player I've seen this season have Luke Shaw in a chokehold. Luke Shaw, I said to him at one point, Luke Shaw doesn't want to get close. He don't want to, and I know that feeling when you've got someone who you know who's quick and can go both ways. He can go outside or inside, who's rapid, and who you know will take the opportunity if you give it to him. He looked like a man that he was so apprehensive to go out there. Do
you have to get doubled up on him? And someone said
doubled up on him, but I think you've got to decide. You've got to decide what's the best way for me to. I would have showed him down the line. I'd never show that guy inside.
It's mad.
I'd be showing him. It's like Robin, but there's Robin. You could show him down the line, and he'll find a way inside. Yeah? But Saka, I think as a defender, it depends where he is on the pitch as well. But if the ball goes out to him wide areas, you can't show him inside because his left foot, he passes and follows, which is a killer. He passes it inside and runs for the 1-2. Or he comes in like yesterday and he'll shoot and he'll hit the back of the net. Like, so
Ericsson was struggling.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is knowing your players. If I knew I was shuffling someone inside, right, and it was, say, someone like Scholesy, for instance, who I knew defensively ain't sharp or he ain't a 1v1 defender, you have to take responsibility and say, I'm going to go and follow this guy. The one who's gone on the outside, Tomiyasu, whoever it is, his delivery ain't going to be what this guy's going to do. So I'm on the ball on him. And I thought that was probably a mistake probably from Shaw, who's been excellent this year, by the way, for Man United. But yesterday, it just showed, I already thought it anyway, but again, big game, big stakes. Saka said, I'm the guy. It was. I love seeing it, even from a Man United point of view. And Eddie Nketiah.
Come on, Eddie.
His record, I think, is 7-7. His record in the last 23 games that he's played, I think, is crazy.
Like,
so he's a poacher. He is, my mate said it in the group, he's a gunslinger. That's what he is.
18 goals across his last 26 starts for Arsenal in all competitions.
Can't knock that.
12 goals in his last 13 starts at the Emirates Stadium.
Why didn't you want him then? What was the reason?
Because he was great at youth level. Absolutely fantastic. But at the time, like I said to you, we've got Aubameyang, who is our superstar signing. And he just looked like he weren't ready. And you got to remember, prior to this season, we looked like we were miles off it. Miles off it. So if you're a fan and you're sitting where I'm sitting, you want reinforcements and you want people that are ready now. You want your Gabriel Jesus's, you want your Zinchenko's. Did I ever think he was going to be able to get to the levels? I saw flashes of it against Chelsea and the last season, but I thought he's not going to be ready. He needs another loan move.
Do you know what it is? It's I think it's psychological. when you're a young player, I'll give you a good example. Diego Forlan at Man United. When you've got Aubameyang, Diego had Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah.
When you've got that superstar in front of you, and then Jesus comes in front of Nketiah, and he's thinking, I'm going to go in, no matter what I do, I'm probably going to be sub. So it's hard to build confidence because you're always thinking in the back of your mind, no matter what I do, the manager's going to play him, man. He's had a moment now where Jesus has come out and he knows every week he's starting.
Like Saka and Pepe, innit?
What that does for you psychologically is it's being proven by what Nketiah is putting out. He's always been known to score goals. England under 21 scored goals. He's been on loan and scored goals. He's scored goals at Arsenal sporadically, but now he's getting a consistent run and know he's going to play. It'd be interesting when Jesus is fit.
What they're going to do.
What they do and how he reacts.
But you know what? We've got options now. I think now we've finally got options. I'm not saying we shouldn't have another attacker, but I'm not as concerned. Before, you know, I'm feeling like United. Weghorst, poor by the way, but we'll get onto that shortly.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
Right, but he wasn't.
He was. But
why are you so concerned with us anyway?
Like,
you won 3-2 top of the league. Don't worry about
you're
us.
concerned with us. Right, we're doing a breakdown. This is what Bible 5 is about.
You got a guy that's not been
How
there all
good,
week.
by the way, was Rashford.
Rashford, oh mate, he's in the form of his
He
life.
looks like he's playing like a man against boys, isn't it? When he gets the ball, the way
yeah.
he was bodying people, throwing people out the way.
Party,
second half.
just say it. Party,
What,
go.
the Megs on Party?
Yeah, did a madness still.
I'll
Party
give
didn't
Party
have a
an
good
assist
game.
for that. Don't worry about it. I'll give him an
He
assist.
didn't have a great game, Party. I don't know what it was. Him and Ben White, who have been shining lights this season, I just feel like they didn't really perform.
Why don't you think Weghorst had a good game?
I feel like he was getting bullied left, right and centre. There were times where he was just getting shafted off the ball. And I thought to myself, this is Man United. This is a big game.
If Manchester United had a right winger that he was able to link with, because
we'll talk about Antony shortly. We'll talk about Antony shortly. But what I'm saying is with him, and maybe it's his second game. I'm not saying that I'm being too harsh. I'm just letting you know what I saw.
Hard game, you know, for us.
It's hard. But at the same time, players of quality.
I liked what he offered.
I'll be honest with you, yeah. If zero fear factor, none of our defenders or fans were thinking
he ain't going to be a goal a game guy, but I don't think that's what he's in the team for.
It don't matter, Steve. He's getting shoved off the ball, and on top of that, yes, he plays the muscle role, so it's going to happen sometimes. But his recovery was way too slow. The thing about Ten Hag teams, you guys will lose the ball. Look at Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's always had it, but you'll see people will recover. They'll fight for it. When my man loses the ball, it looks like he's running in slow motion. We just pick the ball, Weghorst. Just pick the ball.
I think that's an element of his game.
He's a Man United.
He grafts, but listen, he's not a fashionable Man United player. He's there for a purpose. He's not going to be the one that's going to get us 30 goals a season.
Ten Hag's
got him there for a
might as well have kept Ronaldo. Because you guys are talking about the pressing. You guys are talking about the pressing.
What you want, what you want out of this striker. Yeah, but what you want out of this striker, right? He's not been brought in for that. There's a particular reason what he's been brought in for.
What's he been brought in for?
He's been brought in there to be a focal point where you can play it into him and you can get runners off of him. I'm not saying it happened in
I was going to say, because I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
It didn't happen all the time, but it's happened at times. He flicked one with his outside of his foot in the second half. But what I'm saying is he's not been brought in there to create flamboyant moments that you're looking for from a Man United striker. It's not going to happen. He's not the guy.
The quality you guys need to do those roles, I'm not saying everyone's a Zlatan, but when Zlatan did it, you could see there's an effect there. Not everyone's Zlatan. For me, he just doesn't look like. You can tell it's a low move.
You're asking for Zlatan stuff.
He's
never been that.
Wait. I said I'm not saying he's Zlatan, but you expect more. Rio,
stop talking.
Rio,
listen.
So what are you saying about his performance?
Listen, trying to talk to you, and you're just fucking talking. Shut up and listen. Who was available for us? It was get Weghorst or nobody.
We don't know that, because if Weghorst is available, then I promise you someone else is available. It's not him or nothing.
How it works.
No, it's not him or nothing.
Club have clearly
it's not him or nothing, and you know it.
Can I fucking talk here or what?
You could have had someone else, but it's going to be a 3 or 4, 5, 6 year package. Yeah. He's a 6-month package that you can come in.
The club have clearly said we got no money. You can have someone on loan or you can go fuck yourself. So he's got someone in on loan. And it's literally a case of get Weghorst in or ask Anthony Martial if he fancies playing this week.
Mate, what are you going to do with that one?
Where is it? The guy like, hey, you're the striker this year, and he's gone, cool, I'll think about it.
Steve, I don't
Can't trust him.
You can't.
We've lost 4 strikers. We've lost Anthony Martial, you've lost Greenwood, you've lost Cavani, you've lost Ronaldo. You tell me a team that's had to deal with losing 4 strikers. You tell me a team that's reliant on an
Liverpool.
18-year-old child. They've not lost 4 strikers. They've still got 6 strikers.
Yeah, no, they're doing all right with their attackers.
I'm telling you, they still lost them.
Which moves me on to Antony. I'm confused. I'm not here to bash players. I know it's his first season. People need to focus. I've learned about saying too much in it. So let's put this down
Guys
on
just spent
record.
half an hour going in on.
All I'm
in Weghorst.
saying, no, because I don't want to be wrong, innit? Like, but it's part of football. All I'm saying is, I don't see what that guy offers as a proper out and out winger, because I've never seen a player struggle to take the ball to beat a man so much the way he does. And when you look at other top wingers in the league, your Grealishes, your Mahrezes, your Sakas, your Martinellis, even Mudryk, who came on the other day, direct, bang, bang, bang. My man gets the ball, cuts it back inside, slows down play, arguing with players, being out-muscled. I think, is this what you pay 190 mil for? This is Man United. You need Jadon Sancho fit back, so at least he's a little bit more direct. I don't understand, and I feel like Lescott was right last week. If you saw the last episode of Bible 5, he said it's almost like he's got to work, because if Garnacho comes on and keeps doing what he's doing, it kind of proves that 100 million we gave you went to waste. So it's like he's trying to make it work. Why didn't we see Garnacho? Yeah. He offered way more. He offers way more.
That was the only ask that I was sitting there thinking, whoa, he's come on when we've gone 3-2 down. Like, I was sitting there thinking, it was like Fred came on and it made us more negative. I'm not saying that he was the wrong player to bring on, because I thought his legs was needed at that point. But if you could have brought on a Garnacho at that point as well to give them something to think about on the counter,
100
with Rashford through the middle, then we'd have they might not have been as kind of on the front foot against us, thinking we've got to worry a little bit more. But we never asked that question. But going back to your point, I mean, I spoke about Antony yesterday. I think there's an adaptation period as well, as all players coming from other leagues have to have and need, and you need to give them that grace. So next season, I think, is when you judge him. I think this season is an adaptation. Some players hit the ground running, some players don't. Listen, he come in and he scored, I think, 3 and 5 games in the first part when he
got like 6 goals this season.
Yeah, but it's the other parts of that you're looking at. Like you say, you want and the problem he's got, it's Man United. Man United wingers. You're either Beckham, who you're out on your own and do what he done, or you're someone who runs past people and gets people 1v1 and hurts people. And it's just unfortunate maybe for him that he's being judged by that, because that is the ask of a Man United winger.
Does that for Brazil as well, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why he just kept getting subbed off, and as the tournament went, he played less and less.
But the only bit of faith that I've got faith because of what I saw in an Ajax shirt. Like
it's also the gaffer.
You look at the Ajax team and the Ajax clips when he was playing in the Champions League.
I look good in highlights, mate. I can beat people in highlights.
No, but I'm saying you're beating people though. But what I'm saying, I'm asking just to go past people, and I've seen him do that for Ajax. So it's in there.
I don't think Ten Hag goes as hard for him after spending so much time with him if he doesn't see. Like, I've seen enough from Ten Hag to trust his judgment on a player, and I think that what we're seeing from Antony isn't what Antony's about. I think he's had 4 or 5 games where he's been shite. And I think he would have been dropped had Jadon Sancho been 70-80% there.
Which is true. But why not Garnacho though? I'm saying, why could he? I think this is the game.
It's a young kid, man. 18 years old, it's not about just throwing young kids in. When Ronaldo came and Ronaldo turned out to what he's not saying Garnacho's that, but he weren't just thrown in and said play every game.
But he hasn't. I think this was a game where we could have seen him earlier. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the manager's made his decision based on I don't know what, but he's just made his decision. He's got to live and die by that. But
He's had 2 poor tactical games, by the way, Ten Hag. Let's call it out.
I don't think it was a bad tactical game.
I think those moments...
we lost a 90-minute goal.
Those moments...
Last-minute winner.
Last-minute winner.
But again, I thought exactly what you said. The landscape could have been different with his substitutes. I thought it was really negative.
It's a set piece as well.
He was going back up the M6, happy with that draw. Like, just...
Yeah, but I don't think you could say that's a tactical... It's not it being tactically inept.
When he kept on Casemiro against Palace in the 80th minute and you're winning 1-0, come on, bro.
Yeah, because it's 1-0.
You know your players,
You can concede and draw.
You know your players.
Yeah, but then,
you know Scholes. You know Casemiro. You know they're aggressive.
Wait, okay. So if he brings off Casemiro, and then Palace score... Tactically disgraceful. But how can you do that? You got to win the game there, and then you got your 3 points are there. Take them there. You can't win.
The reason why I say
that, because if we've got 3 points against Palace,
the reason why I say
3 points
that,
against City and lose to you lot,
the reason why I say
points,
that, if you look at that particular game, you look at Palace's midfielders, you look at United's midfielders. Scott McTominay can close the game down for 10 minutes. He can. Do you know what I mean? And even if he does a rash challenge, there's a difference, because it's not just that game. It's the Arsenal game. And you guys missed him, all banter aside, you missed him massively. Partey was afforded to have a not so good game, right? Because Casemiro weren't there.
Yeah, but it's not based on tactical.
It is because he
being
didn't make
tactical.
the change.
Yeah,
you
because
lot,
he's
you lot
got to
just
try
want
and
to
get the
defend
3
him and
points.
just don't want to call him out. But it's the truth. If it
it's-
was Ollie
you
or,
can't sit
or
there.
Redknapp,
You can't sit there and go, "Oh, you should have brought him off to save him
He
for the
should
Arsenal
have.
game." You can't say you got to win what's in front of you. Every single manager, every single player going for Champions League. Say it's this game. You can't keep thinking about later on.
and this is
What did you
why
just
this
say?
is why
Hang on.
Jose this is why
I'm gonna give you
Jose
arm on the
was the
shoulder.
man.
Zip it.
That's why Jose was
Listen,
the man.
what did you just say a minute ago?
Go on.
Got to take it 1 game at a time, lads.
Yeah.
One game at a time.
So how about
When it
shut
suits
up
him.
and take it 1 game at a time?
When it suits him.
Steve, I come with a smoke today, you know. Here, come on.
You know what
Yeah,
though? Can
we
I just
did- we
say,
did
sorry,
miss Casemiro.
Go on.
it was just great. I said in my, I think I put it out on my social media about what this game meant. It was one of the games that we were walking out alongside Vieira. What this game used to mean as a player, like the lead up, the big characters involved, the what was at stake normally, trophies, egos, 2 managers at it.
Are both clubs out of the banter era now?
Yeah, Man United still
Man
got
United,
a way
you
to
lot
go,
still in-
I reckon.
still in the
But
banter
I
zone.
think Arsenal are in the
Still in the
serious
banter
mode
zone.
again.
Have we got ladders up out of it then?
Yeah.
not
You're
climbing.
climbing. I'm not gonna lie. You're climbing.
Yeah.
You just-
But it's just
Yeah,
that this game just it evoked those old memories. You know what I mean? The feeling that used to be had. I remember used to warm up even at the Emirates, even at Highbury, but the one that was vivid at the Emirates, and fans used to get there for the warm up, and they used to absolutely cane us. Some of their fans.
Yeah.
I remember I used to cane us and I sit there and think, yes, watch when we score.
Yeah.
And run down there and celebrate in front of them. And I remember there's one of me going like that to the fans. It was to the guy who shouted something to me in the warm up,
Really?
and I remember it. But it was that was the game. Them games were about. It was unbelievable. So this game brought back those memories. Last minute winner, 5-goal thriller. Arsenal, Man United. That fixture's back on the calendar.
What was your favourite game that you played in against Arsenal? Because we had some tasty ones.
You know what one it was? It was one of my early ones. I think we wore a black kit. Giggsy scored the header. I think Shazy come on at the end and scored the dink.
That's the Roy Keane tunnel one.
Yeah, that one's the best one. The Roy Keane tunnel moment overshadowed an unbelievable match.
Well, for years I said that was the best Premier League game I've ever
Mate, it was unreal. 4-2. Shazy come on and dink the keeper. Unbelievable.
Ronaldo
His
got
left
2.
foot. Ronaldo got 2 great goals. Giggsy, I think, got a header. And Shazy come on. I think we went 1-0 or 2-1. We went 1-0 down, I think, in that game.
End like a
That
basketball
was
game.
that was the game that I thought, wow, like, these games are different.
Do you know the game before that and the reason why it went off?
Bergkamp and Henry up front.
The reason it went off in that game and the one beforehand was because of the game when they played in the blue kit at home and everyone kicked the shit out of everyone. I think Van Nistelrooy scraped one down Ashley Cole. Gary Neville's tried to assault Antonio Reyes anytime he got the ball. It was
Wasn't that
raw.
after that game?
No, it was before
Was it?
Yeah, it was, and that was.
Yeah, I
originally
remember
when
Reyes. I remember Gary Neville was saying, I'm just going to kick him today. I'm just going to kick the hell out of him because
Couldn't
he was that
handle
good.
him. Yeah.
He was saying, if he turns and
Fast.
runs at me, it's over.
It was both ways though. It wasn't
Like,
all you.
yeah,
know.
they
It was both ways.
you know what? As great Dennis Bergkamp, great player. I
was gonna say-
unreal player.
I was gonna say-
but he was not shy in putting himself about.
Really?
Mate, he'd leave a bit on you always. You playing the ball into someone, and all of a sudden you see a stud, 8 studs
Steps on
coming in your shin.
For those watching, I know sometimes we do these segments over and over again, but it's just hearing you play against these players. You would rather play against Theirry Henry, you said, than Dennis Bergkamp. Why? I've heard you say this on the 5 formations.
And that's no disrespect to Thierry. Thierry's
Nah,
one of
we
the,
know.
Thierry's one of the best, if not the best, Premier League player ever.
Tell him.
Right? But it's just like styles make fights in boxing. It's the same as with football. And where he played, he didn't really play up against me. Thierry never really come up against me often in games. So
Can I interrupt just there? Yeah, just really quickly. Did you see the interview that I sent you on WhatsApp the other day? He was talking to Ben Foster, Thierry.
yeah, go on.
And what he said, right, he has an answer for that. He said how difficult it was to play against players such as yourself, right? And he said what he would do, he would stay on the wing because he knew that once he entered the defensive zone, that's your arena. So his whole thing was, no, we can score goals or we can assist. He was just as proud of his assists. So he wasn't too concerned to make sure that he was onto.
He wasn't one of those guys who went, right, I'm going to play against Rio and it's about my ego.
Yes.
He was about, I'm going to do what's best for my team. And if I can find a weakness or an area where I can hurt the other opposition, it will do that. It's a pure game in intelligence, which was great. And he was a joke. But Bergkamp, man, like even like I remember asking him to swap his shirt once. He just looked at me, bruv, looked through me.
No way.
I was only a young kid. I think I was at West Ham at that point. And I said, "Oh, can I take your shirt at full time? Scared already." Like, like stuttering, and he just looked at me like that. And I just thought, right, he does not rate me at all. That's how I felt for years. And Bergkamp, they call him the Iceman, but that's how he was. Like, and then all of a sudden, he'd just come in to tackle you, bang, elbow in your Adam's apple. Like,
no way.
As good as silky as he was a hard player, man. But his biggest attribute that caused me problems was that he was like a 10 who would drop in and would say, come on, Rio, come on, try and mark me. And the moment I come out there, Theirry or Pires or someone or Lundberg runs in there. So he was such a super intelligent player. But the hardest player I played against for Arsenal was Anelka.
Yeah, you keep saying.
He was an absolute problem.
Oh, man.
Just on the acceleration.
Top 3 hardest players I played against in my career.
Do you
what else? Movement or just the speed?
He fought and anticipated like a player with no pace. So add nitro to that. Different.
Say that, elaborate on that, please.
So normally the slower player, Dennis Bergkamp, we wouldn't put him as someone who's got like super jet hill player, yeah? Not the quickest of players. He's quick enough, but he wasn't like super quick. They have to think. Raul, they have to think.
Sheringham.
You think Sheringham, and then today's type of player, Firmino has to think, come to the ball, etc. This guy, he could run quicker than anybody. Probably him or Michael Owen, like primetime Michael Owen, were the quickest 2 strikers I played against. But he actually anticipated and made runs like, both of them two actually, made runs like they didn't have the pace to get on. So they've got to time their run perfectly to be able to get in, because they know that if you don't time it perfectly, the quick centre-backs will get back at them. Whereas these guys are timing it perfectly and they're super quick. So you don't get time to get back. They're pulling away from you, if anything. Unreal. And a mad finisher. The thing that hurt Nicholas Anelka was at Arsenal was an out-and-out number 9, played on your shoulder, trying to get in all the time. And when he left Arsenal, it's like he went and was more like a number 10. And like that, someone going in there who isn't a real number 10, it's not as scary. Do you know what I mean? Bergkamp in the number 10, yeah. Baggio, Del Piero, Totti, they're number 10s, and you go,
Stop it.
I need to really think about it. But Anelka's number 9, man. He used to scare the living daylights out of you.
Would you say, just to wrap up this segment, would you say that when you played against him in his latter years, as good as he was, because he was still good at Chelsea.
At Liverpool even.
At Liverpool, they should have wrapped him up, man. They went for, I think, Diop instead. I can't remember. But Cisse, it was Jabril Cisse they went for. But do you think he was less of a threat when you were Champions League final, for example?
Yeah, and I think Anelka could have gone down as one of the best. Like best. I mean, he goes down as a top player, don't get me wrong, top mad player. But he could have gone down even bigger, I think, if he went, I'm a number 9 and like even stayed a couple more years at Arsenal. But this is all hindsight, do you know what I mean? But great player.
9s or 10s.
I always
with a
find
9, you want to play against a 9 and obviously watch the runs in behind. Do you want to follow a 10 into the space?
That's the question, isn't it? It matters where the ball is, where players are, where your teammates are. Like the number 10, when he drops in, like I said, if the number 10 drops into that hole there and the ball's coming to him, you make a decision. Do I go to get to him so I put his head down and he can't then play forward? And if I can't get to him quick enough, I've got to stay in that slot so he can't expose that space. And I'm waiting for runners to run into me. But a number 9, most of the number 9s, you know where they are. So the more I know where you are, the better I feel, more comfortable I feel. The moment
How do you do that? Well, like touching?
Yeah, but just like some just moving so I can see. Like take a yard off sometimes.
On that, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I called it as soon as the goal went in. As soon as he turns to face the goal, it's over.
Yeah, it is.
Does he need to keep his body open, see Nketiah on his left side, and also be able to sort of see the ball?
Gary Neville was the best at this as a fullback. He was the best at marking the opposite side when the ball's coming in. So if their winger was crossing the ball and Gary Neville was the goal inside, he gets himself inside the post. So anything that beats me, he's going to get, yeah? But also he would attach himself to that winger, get hold of him. And sometimes he wasn't as big as those guys, but they got to do a lot to get away from him. And he would just stand in their way, even little things like that. And this is all about awareness and seeing that picture more often than not. That comes in training, reps in training. Like Aaron Wan-Bissaka and all fullbacks, it's a really hard skill to master, by the way. Like the way the guys are talking about it until yesterday, like it's easy. It's not easy, right? That is one way that 33-year-olds get unpicked like that at the end of your career when you're meant to know it back to front, right? But it's about being switched on and having concentration for the full 90. And if you switch off in them moments, you get punished. You're 6 yards out, it's a goal. But he has to attach himself, feel him, or he's got to turn and face. And that's the really hardest thing for me, to be able to see the crosser who's crossing the ball and the man. right, to see both. It's difficult because you're going to take your eye off at one point and that split second they move.
You can't turn your back.
But you can't turn your back like he did. And and when you turn your back, you got no idea.
Yeah, because Eddie's just done this inside.
He didn't know where he was. Once you don't know where you are.
Wasn't even like elite movement from Nketiah. He's turned his back to him and popped it in front of him.
But it's good movement though because he smelt where the ball's going first.
Exactly. You know, he ain't going to miss from there.
Before we finish on that, because I think that's really useful for people. If you're his centre half inside him, are you talking to him at all there, or
no?
are you just concentrating on yourself?
That when the ball's out there, right? This is the stuff I love. Yeah. So if we're the back three and our fullback Shaw has gone out to press the ball, so we're in the box, right?
The ball's coming from that
side where Saka is, right? You've got to be talking, or you. To me, control me. You're controlling me, you're controlling him and me. Yeah. So if someone runs across you, and you're not going to follow him, I need to hear.
Yeah.
So I can go, right, I'll take him.
Well, you got man coming.
But I watched that, no one in there talking. Like, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, at one point, it's got two players. He should be screaming in centre half, get back here, because he was touching Saliba, I think it was. And you mark Saliba, and I'm going to stay here with my man. But he doesn't talk. And that's one part of the game that is so vital and stops so many situations, not even goals, stops so many situations happening in games if you just talk. That was my game. One of my biggest attributes. And you ask Nicky Butt, you ask Scholesy, you ask Carrick, especially, I played for him for so many years. Owen Argues, especially. That was me.
Really random.
Screaming, left, right, up, back, press. You got to scream.
Is that why you were captain? Because at one point, if you look at the United hierarchy, it shouldn't have been you, right? But do you reckon that's one of... No, if you look at longevity, innit? Like I'm talking longevity.
Age and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, I was a loudmouth. Like in your changing room, I was loud and stuff, and had a laugh and stuff. But on the pitch, I was a shouter and a screamer of just like instructions of where to be. Like, and all I thought about was... When I'm shouting, I'm keeping myself on my toes to stay concentrated, which every centre-back should be doing, especially. Stay in the game. So every time I'm talking, I'm in the game, right? But I'm also trying to make Carrick's game easier and life easier. So when I'm shouting him left or right, that means he ain't having to look over his shoulder to find where players are. The striker's gone to the left. Carrick's left. He takes a step. That ball then can't be played in there. So he hasn't got to run 20 yards back. He's staying there, making his life easier. Same with the fullback if I'm shouting him. Vida, squeeze, you attack it, you go, I'm behind. He's just doing one job. We ain't thinking about 2 or 3 jobs. And I think you just got to communicate. I think young players now, if any young players watch this, is one of the things, if you add talking to your game, I swear to you, you run less and you don't have to work as hard sometimes and you make everyone else's life easier. You've got a better chance of winning.
What about for England? Did that work with Stevie G, for example?
Yeah, but it's like...
It's a different relationship,
it's a different
relationship, that's why
and it's also knowing
different language.
Yeah, it's knowing players, isn't it? Knowing their traits and knowing what they want. Do you know what I mean? I know what Carrick wanted. I was with him every day.
Yeah,
I know what Scholesy needed, what he wanted. I was with him every day. And you're shouting Wazza where you want him when we haven't got the ball, etc., or where you want him to press. Carlos go, like etc. Darren Fletcher. So, but it takes time and it takes encouragement from coaches for players to grow into that.
When there was 2v1 on Wan-Bissaka, was it a free kick or a corner that they went and stood on him? Because Saliba's not there by accident.
Yeah, I think it's a corner. What
are you talking second goal or first goal?
It was just before the Nketiah goal, wasn't it?
First goal or second
goal? Was that the first?
First goal.
Yeah,
corner.
it was the first, yeah. So at that moment, whose responsibility is that? Is that Martinez? Is that Varane? Is that the keeper? Whose responsibility is it? Or is it Wan-Bissaka's himself to say, I've got 2?
Yeah, he's got to shout. Because obviously the 2 centre-backs are looking where the ball is, right? They're looking at where the ball is and you would think be touching himself to someone. But Wan-Bissaka, when you're the furthest man, you can see the whole picture. You can see everything. You have to be the voice along the line. That's what Gary Neville was brilliant at that. From the ball was the other side, he'd be screaming across the line, up, because he was sometimes the last man and get up. Or if someone's running across early, he was bigger. And that's another one. If you have a big striker pulling off on the back post, I wouldn't want him on Gary Neville. I would swap as much as I could. I'd get out the back and I say, Gary, come inside. But that's communication.
What's Pat like on the other side? Because obviously you was closer to Gary on this side, because you was usually right-hand side. Could you hear Pat?
Yeah, Pat weren't a big talker. He weren't a big talker. Vida would talk a bit, but everyone had their different roles though. Do you know what I mean? Pat was great in the air though. So Pat didn't mind following a big striker or taking a big striker on the back post because he could compete. He was big. And he was fine with that. And that's our pattern. It's about relationships. Mine and Gary's Neville's relationship was different to Pat and Vida's. They had a certain way of working. I had a certain way working with Gary.
Rio, thanks for that masterclass. Honestly, that's definitely going in the title. And please let us know. We need more of that, by the way.
That's
We need more of that.
Training session.
You know what I mean? All the coaches up and down the country. I don't know why you haven't. Obviously, I know why. Sorry, I know that it's personal reasons why you haven't gone into coaching and stuff like that. But I think a lot of people would have benefited.
Mate, he drops nuggets on the floor.
Yeah, like automatic.
No, you know,
but you said you don't have patience.
But I do it because I do it with young players. Obviously, we're here at New Era. We got young players and or even players that are currently playing like for England or for playing for their clubs in the Premier League.
Yeah,
like that's what I do, a lot of mentoring and talk about situations in training, where you can work on your game and stuff like that. And those little details, that's where I get my kicks.
You got a lot to offer. I just want to say, Klopp, man, why is he moving all salty?
Have you ever heard him ever talk ever?
Nah, but it's different when he's talking about, someone that's close to me. Like normally,
I actually enjoyed. I spoke to him on the weekend for BT. We won the game at Chelsea and Liverpool. It was actually good talking to him. You know that he's got a really good character, good way about him. You can see why players enjoy playing for him.
That's the whole reason he got popular. Was he was analysing football on TV.
Yeah, on TV, yeah.
Up to him.
Really?
But he's listen. They're in a bit. Listen, who wouldn't be a little bit salty in their position?
Can you give them context, please?
What do you mean?
Context of what I'm talking about and what you're about to talk about. Basically, Klopp in response to drawing his 1000th game, 1-1 against Chelsea. His response was, Arsene Wenger lost his 1000th game 6-0, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, he is, man. They've been fighting. They were going for the quadruple they were talking about last season.
Yeah, but
the quad,
come on, man.
right? We all know that was going to be hard to do, right? But it was a mid-table battle at the weekend, Chelsea-Liverpool, mid-table clash. And who wants to be involved in that if you're Chelsea or Liverpool? They're not used to that. Yeah, so you're going to feel...
Rio, I know he's your mate now, but class.
He's not my mate.
Class.
No,
you need a little bit more class.
I understand it.
There's no reason to bring that up. There is no reason.
Bruv, good losers finish last.
No, it's not about being a good loser. Just no, obviously, let's not do good loser, because imagine post-match, I'm sure there was times where you wanted to say certain things, but you had the class to not say everything you felt in a post-match interview.
It wasn't through class. It was just because I didn't want to get fined. But it was more that. It was more.
Either that, you could control yourself.
I said things, I'm sure, after games that was
I've never heard anything like that.
It was a little bit like blame the ref, maybe, when I know it wasn't the ref. I don't know, but like
blame the ref.
I don't think listen. I don't. I like to see managers when it hurts them. They show it.
Jurgen, just keep Arsene Wenger out of your mouth.
Listen, they got to take the positives. At least Trent didn't lose him a game this week.
Yeah, on this or that, we ask anyway.
What? Did you not see him last week? I'll send you the clips.
Yeah, but come on, man.
All right, so we're rattling on now before the end of the show. Mudryk, mate.
Oh!
Do you see the tackle off Robertson? How does he get away with that? He's hanging ears.
Dude, Robertson tackled him.
Yeah.
What, for the yellow card? That was Milner. It was Milner, wasn't it?
No, it was Robertson's gone absolutely through him.
I've got to say that you know when players come on and you go, what's he got? His first touch, he kicked it out of play, by the way, right? And everyone in the studio looked at each other and went, 80 what? How much? And his second touch, he was like, Milner got booked trying to bring him down because he knew he was going to be off.
Yeah,
the Jets were on.
He
is rapid. But it's like, the kid he's not even in like a rhythm. He's not played no games
since
the last
November.
6 weeks. Yeah, whatever it was,
November, December.
So imagine when he's like fully fit.
Scary. I was talking.
You lot must be gutted.
I was talking with Jake, and don't get me wrong. I'm very happy with the Trossard signing. Obviously,
he looked good.
He did look good.
He's a good player, Trossard.
Really good.
Good signing.
But you know when you go, this guy could be the difference here, and I feel like
Mudryk.
Yeah. I feel like we might have missed.
Where would you play him though?
He plays on Martinelli's side.
Yeah.
I think the only problem with that is it also opens, if you give him it weren't going to be 7 years, but it would have been like a 5-year contract, right? I feel like it slightly opens the door for Martinelli to go.
Yeah, but I just think you've got to have the best teams have competition.
Pep.
Look at City.
Pep.
Mahrez is on the bench some weeks. He's been their best player in the last 2 or 3 games. Like 100 million on Grealish. He's sub for 4 weeks sometimes. Like Foden don't start sometimes. You got to have competition, and you got to have players that they see someone like a Mudryk coming in and go, do you know what? Yes, he's going to help us win, rather than oh my god, it's my position. You can take my position.
They're on the phone again. Turns out Fernandes, Chelsea.
Mate,
they might have signed 4 players. Before
he is a player, by the way.
Yeah.
Enzo Fernandez is the real deal.
do you reckon when I look
Available for 8 million.
after respectfully, after Potter goes and you owe me a new laptop because I'm telling you it's
Hang on,
happening this
isn't
week.
that by
No,
Monday?
it's now, isn't it?
No, it's on Monday.
Monday,
Yeah,
all right.
Monday.
He ain't getting the sack,
Listen, I'm telling you, brother. I've got
Potter,
a new
he's
laptop
staying
coming.
there.
After he goes, and if they get a proper manager,
What, you ain't a problem manager? You're not having him?
nah, not for Chelsea.
He's gone early again. He's gone early
I
again.
think the job's too big for him.
See what I mean?
I do. Honestly, I think the job's too big for him.
Do we think that Potter warranted the chance at Chelsea, given what he'd done at Brighton?
Yeah, I do.
And you're going to slot him away now after 6 months in the job, not even that.
Try to do it Arteta.
Can I explain this
Arteta
one?
got
Can I
this
explain?
treatment.
Can I explain
Arteta
this
got
one very
this
quickly?
treatment.
Can I briefly explain this one? I just think it's different. It's
No, you
different.
can't
It's
explain
different
it.
cultures, man.
Go on then.
Chelsea are not the type of club
It's a new,
historically.
new culture.
Yeah, it's new gaffer.
What the way they sacked Tuchel, yeah?
But it's a new
All right,
culture.
cool.
But that was...
It's their man, though.
Tuchel, though, isn't it? Right.
We don't know until
The
he sacks Potter what the culture
it's
is.
happening this week. Don't worry, I've got inside info.
Go
The
on.
way the culture's different, man.
Go on,
A
then.
manager like that needs a club that will look after him and that will support him. The way I see the
We
Chelsea
don't
fans
know that
going on.
Chelsea
Have you
aren't that,
seen?
though.
Are you seeing the fans, Steve?
Yeah, have you seen Arsenal fans?
Yeah,
you
we're
was
great.
one of them
We're
shouting
great.
for Arteta to go, but luckily the board had sense.
No,
And
the
he
board
didn't.
the board were too far away to understand what was going on. That's what kept him in the job. But yeah, look, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. And I feel like he's a good manager. I feel like Chelsea, the way it is and where they are now, I don't think it's the right club for him. It's also about timing. I've said this before. Arteta came at the right time, and Ten Hag. If Ten Hag came beforehand, maybe the landscape would have been different.
I got a question. Where's Tommy Tuchel going next?
Spurs. I'll put money on Spurs. I'll put money on Spurs right now.
I thought he was going to go Barcelona at the start
What,
of the season.
Xavi ball?
No. At the start of the season, I thought.
If Tuchel ends up at Spurs, I will not be surprised.
Oh, all right. What about Poch? Where's he going?
Chelsea.
What?
I think he goes Chelsea. If Potter gets sacked, I think he goes Chelsea.
Pochettino is he's a good football man, you know. I've spent a bit of time with him in the World Cup. He's like, him and his staff, close-knit group, good people, man.
Before you came in during the World Cup, because obviously we had Poch on and Rio was late. Yeah.
No, you were early. I weren't late.
You were late. Anyway, he comes in and Poch comes in
Exactly.
and the way he just controlled the room without saying anything, I can't lie, I felt like I was at school. And normally you have people that come in were always respectful.
Well, Lineker weren't like that then. Didn't have that aura.
Who, sorry?
Lineker didn't have that aura.
I like
No, but Lineker's
Gary gets a lot of shit. I
a
like him.
presenter.
I'm
There's
just saying,
a difference.
you're talking
As a
aura
player.
here. You're talking aura.
I feel like we know Gary a little bit more, don't we? I can
Friend-
even call
friend
him
of the- friend
Gary
of the-
now,
friend of the
innit?
channel.
Exactly. But Poch came in and he hardly said a word to anyone in the beginning. Not because he was being rude. He came in, he had a job to do.
No, he did. He was chatting to me.
No,
Before you
after
got
a
there.
while, after you gave him a few stares and that, and called the ice a little bit. But he was very. You can tell that you have to win him over. He ain't just out here giving it for free, bro. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I can see him being very successful at Chelsea. Just putting it out there.
Southampton down or what?
It's going to be a tough,
they're
long road for them.
They're gone.
West Ham, boy, my old club beat Everton.
So go on then, El Sacchio. One of them
Sacco,
had to
man.
go. Was it going to be Moisey? Was it going to be Rio's mate?
You want it,
Is
There's
this the
a
segment?
lot of talk that he's got the old bullet today.
So by the time this drops, he could be gone.
He could be gone.
Unfortunate, man. But listen, if you don't get the results, I think, what is it? Is it 11 defeats in the last 13 games or 14 games? That's bad form, that.
Did you see the pressure that the Everton fans were putting on him, by the way?
The Scousers don't
They're
mess about.
different, you know? Did you see it?
You Scousers are hotting up players, managers. Do you think that's right, though?
No, you can't put pressure on people like
I
that.
think if you're being respectful, yeah.
Go to the game, pay your money to go in like you normally do, and give the manager, give the players a bit of grief if you want. But outside they could be in the cars with their families, man.
Exactly, man. I got a lot of love for
I
Frank.
think some Everton fans took umbrage with saying someone got headlocked. I don't think anybody got headlocked.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
Who
they-
got headlocked?
They said
No-
one of the
nobody.
directors. They said one of the directors did, but they didn't. So
Can't be headlocked.
That's just his papers just making up stupid stories.
Um,
and you know what? The Everton fans are really they're football people. You know, you go to some stadiums, you go, you know what? This lot. No, like the Everton fans, you know, you know what? They know their football. They appreciate good football. They give you a bit of grief, but when you're outside the stadium, how you doing? They're
Go on,
good
where's
fans.
the clueless
They're good
stadiums?
fans.
Go
Huh?
on, go on, let's annoy some people. Where's the clueless stadiums?
Yeah, Arsenal used to be a little bit of a theatre.
I really
it was a
don't
theatre.
care.
It was quiet, man. Maybe because we used to beat you, innit?
It was loud yesterday, I'll tell you that for sure.
No, I'm joking.
It was loud yesterday.
No, just unrealistic. Sometimes it's unrealistic fans. You know what I mean?
Bournemouth.
Spurs.
Bournemouth.
Spurs. They're unrealistic.
Bournemouth sees me as a bit of a day out sort of stadium.
Yeah, you know what? There used to be,
both of you come for me.
yeah, there used to be hard. Yeah,
It's the truth. It's a nice stadium. It's like near the
Spurs
coast.
was
Like
nice to
flowers
go.
outside.
12,000 attendance.
No,
Like,
White Hart Lane used to be. I used to love going there.
is
Do
it?
you know where it's not like Upton Park was not the
hard
sort
place.
of day out sort of
Hard
stadium.
Newcastle.
Some of them
Newcastle,
alleyways
hard
around the
place to go.
outside, you'd be like,
Yeah. But there's some guys. Birmingham used to be hard for us. Yeah. It means be a hard ground to go to. Norwich used to be a hard place to go.
Really?
Yeah, like it was just that.
why Palace still singing about Cantona? Is that the only thing that's happening?
Palace have done well, you know.
Yeah,
Palace, they drew against Newcastle 0-0, man.
Yeah,
Like,
they've had a good
drew against
week.
you lot.
They've been out of form the last couple of weeks, mate. Their position
had a
in the
good
league.
week.
I'm looking at their home
Okay.
form, by the way. I think
Where'd
they're doing well because of their home form. They've only lost to, I think it's Arsenal.
Do you know who I love?
Chelsea. Go on.
Elise. I just love his interview is just famous. He's famous. The interview's an unbelievable interview.
Is he doing it on purpose?
No,
or is
I
it
heard
who
a
he
lot
is?
of people. I know people that worked with him when he was younger and say he's different, but I don't make him a bad guy.
No.
different.
He's just.
He's a different guy and he does things his own way. I love it. That interview, it's one of the best interviews I've seen. If you ain't seen it, check it out. It's unreal.
Who's going Everton when your mate gets the bullet then?
I reckon that if he gets the sack, Frank, I think they go Sean Dyche.
Interesting.
Where'd you go if you was them?
Don't know. Maybe dipping at the
think that's a
championship
shout, you
if
know?
he was doing something. Like, I'd ring Brighton up and ask them who they're getting next and then get him.
But their manager's flying, by the way.
He's
Exactly.
been really
That's what I'm
good.
saying.
Really
He's
good.
unreal.
Really good.
There's some people that are just mega at identifying.
Brighton's
doing
recruitment's
bits and-
brilliant, isn't it? Brighton recruitment.
But that's because of, I believe that's the way Potter set it up. Man City 3, Wolves
Who you want to
0.
get the sack? Okay.
Haaland.
Are they
don't
down
bother
as
me.
well, Wolves? Who's going down then? At this moment, who call it?
I don't know. I don't really know what's
I don't
going on
know.
at the bottom part of the
Bournemouth.
table. I'll be real.
Everton will, unless they get rid of Frank and then they get a decent manager, they might be able to stay up. But Everton,
Southampton.
Wolves, Southampton, could be those. Some
Bournemouth?
big clubs there. I think Bournemouth might do enough. It depends. They might get Everton might overtake them if they get a decent manager in.
really quickly because we're
He's
running
going to be
for
on the
time
sofa with
here.
you in about a week, is it?
You'll imagine her.
Haaland.
Oh, hat trick, Haaland.
Yes. Sorry, that was a yes in case
Haaland.
no one could read
Oh.
between the lines.
25 Premier League goals in his 19th game. He's playing FIFA
He needs
here,
to
bruv.
get some mates, doesn't he, honestly?
Now has 4 Premier League hat-tricks this season.
In how many games? 19 games. It took other players like Suarez, Ruben Nistelrooy, Aguero, and that. It took him like 60 to 80 games. He's done it in 19 games. It's actually illegal what he's doing. Should be.
As confident as I am that we will win the league, which camera am I looking at? This one.
you confident?
As confident as I am that Arsenal will win the league,
The manager you wanted out?
City are still dangerous, man.
No shit.
There's 4 months to go.
Listen, you dropped
Yeah.
2 games back to back and it's
Yeah.
on. Like
You say
Donkey
that,
Kong.
but you were going, oh, January, it's going to be difficult. January, we've passed every
I
single
won.
test that you put in front of
I
us. You know
actually
that?
for
Go
the
in the league then. Go in the league.
For
Shut
the
up and
league.
go in the league.
Oh, for the league, I'd love you to get beat by City twice, yeah, and the running just to be like now biting. That's what I want.
Because you're going to be in bits and it'll be
I don't want
hilarious.
it. I don't want to see how Arsenal react.
I think it's nail biting regardless of what happens.
No,
man.
if you're 8
Do you
points
know
clear
why?
by
Do
like
you know
March,
why?
April,
Do you
it's
know
over,
why?
man.
Do you know why? Because we're not experienced. We haven't. Yes, I've said it. We haven't done this in such a long time.
How long?
So
Nearly
since
20 years,
2004,
20
innit?
years.
Nearly 20 years.
Wow, the big 2-0.
I know.
Nearly.
Hey,
Next
you
year.
lot, listen. You were laughing at us when it was 10 years. Next thing you know, you blink. It's 10 years now for you lot, right?
How long since when I last won the league when I was there?
Yeah, it's 10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
Not
All right,
20.
cool. It's
It ain't
coming.
20.
It's coming though. It's coming. But yeah,
I
like-
believe in Eric Ten Hag. Trust me.
Yeah, well, I believe in Arteta now as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's finish it there.
It's just a horrible scenario, though, isn't it? It's like this lot, him, win the league.
Yeah, I know.
Or it's Pep 3 in a row.
There you
No.
go.
I'd rather Arsenal win it, I've got to say.
All right, listen, before we wrap it up, very, very quickly, we got to do this. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we did FIFA Final 11 Team of the Year.
Honestly, you lot are mental. Why is Van Dijk in this? Everyone else
Okay,
is
cool.
all right.
So we got it on screen right now. Rio, it looks like your team had the most players in the final results. So you had 8 players that made it into FIFA's Team of the Year. I had 6 and Steve had 5. And when we did our combined team, right, us 3, there were 7 players. So let's look at
I
your
won.
players.
So I won.
Yeah, you won. Somehow Van Dijk, no one put Van Dijk in there,
How's-
but
yeah.
he still managed to make the final.
Why
team.
is he
I
in
don't
there?
get that.
In the last 12 months, what has Van Dijk done?
Yeah.
Liverpool are
They won the FA
languishing
Cup.
mid-table. Yeah, but his individual performances have not been... Like the guy had an maybe one of the best individual years a centre-half had. What, 2019 was it?
Yeah.
Are we still living on that 4 years later? Do me a favour.
Was you screwing that year? Was you screwing that year? The praise he was getting.
No, he deserved to get the praise. It was unreal what he done and how he impacted that team, 100%. But I always said he'll be judged over the course of his career.
You've won. You got Mudryk, De Bruyne, and did you pick Bellingham as well?
No,
I think he was in mine, I think.
Yeah, he was in yours. So yeah, and up top we all got the same result. So yeah, I think we did pretty well there. Rio, you won. There's no Casemiro, obviously. That's a big miss. I'm surprised he weren't there. I know Bellingham did well, but Casemiro won the league. Won
that's
the Champions
young
League.
kids voting there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. Bellingham's done well.
Bellingham
I
playing.
want answers. Why is Van Dijk in this?
Yeah, no Cancelo as well, which was
Oh, do you see
surprising.
what's it called, by the way? You see Stevie trying to get...
Ah,
Bellingham
he
to
was
Liverpool.
tapping him up,
mate.
innit?
Steve, that's too much. You've gone overboard there.
So listen, mate, he wants to play in the Europa Conference. He could just stay where he is.
Oh, come on, man. But guys, I think that's a good way to wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching. Get your comments in. We've got this or that show coming out tomorrow. We want loads of comments like we had last week.
Turn your notifications on and make sure you subscribe. Tell a friend, man.
Tell a friend
This
to
week,
tell a friend.
you lot aren't in it. Manchester United are in a semi-final.
Yeah, it's true. Let's
what?
watch that. You can watch
Of
that
what?
with us. You watch that
What
with
do you mean
us.
of what?
The
Of
biggest-
a
one of the
major
big ones.
trophy,
One of the big
Joe.
ones. One of the big ones.
It's got 3 handles.
Yeah, one of the big ones.
Anyway, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Beya and Stephen Howson, Rio Ferdinand signing out. Peace.